members, and my dear friends. It's me, Sasa Shrestha, representing Group J. Today's our topic for the discussion is development of thyroid gland and its congenital anomalies. Meet our team. We are all together 10 members, led by Dr. Vatrai ma'am. Our content for today are pharyneal apparatus, development of thyroid and parathyroid gland, and congenital anomalies. At last, we'll be showing you all a 3D video of development of thyroid gland. Now, before heading toward the development of thyroid gland, we'll be having brief about pharyngeal apparatus. By the end of 4th week, there is a development of 4 pharyngeal arcs, which is visible externally between the head bulb and pericardial bulb. 5th and 6th arcs are small, so it is not visible externally. At beginning, there are 6 arches, but during the developmental process, 5th arch disappears and only 5 arcs remains. Expression of TBX2 gene in the pharyngeal pouch is essential for the expression of pharyngeal pouch and pharyngeal arch. Now moving toward the pharyngeal arch, it is derived from the paraxial and the lateral plate mesoderm and neural crest cells that appears during the 4th and 5th week of development. It is a bar of a mesodermal thickening that is separated by a cleft that is known as pharyngeal cleft, which is here shown is the outward section. At the development, there are formation of number of outpouching that is known as pharyngeal pouch. Here in the inner surface, there is pharyngeal pouch. Now talking about pharyngeal cleft, it is derived from ixodon and it will form skin and epidermis. Right section is known as pharyngeal cleft. Talking about pharyngeal pouch, it is derived from endodon. Now, talking about pharyngeal arch, there are first arch which is known as mandibular arch, second arch is known as higher arch, third, fourth and sixth do not have any specific name. At first arch, there are 2 swellings that is known as lingual swellings and middle of it there is tubercular impart. Second, third and partly fourth will form the hyperbronchial eminence whose head part is known as copula. Now moving toward the pouches, there are first, second, third and fourth pouch. Third and fourth are essential for the thyroid and parathyroid development. Third dorsal surface will form the inferior parathyroid gland, which is also known as parathyroid 3, so it is known as parathyroid 3, and the ventral surface will form the thymus gland. Talking about fourth dorsal surface will form the superior parathyroid gland, and ventral surface will form the ultimobranchial body, which will form the parafollicular C cells, which are essential for the calcium metabolism in our body. Now, for the development of thyroid gland, I'll hand over this mic to my friend Sandesh Bandhu.
Thank you, Sasa. Good morning, everyone. My topic of the discussion is development of thyroid gland. The thyroid is the largest endocrine gland. It starts to develop during 24 days of fertilization. You can see this picture. The pharyngeal arch is developing from either of this side, and they are going to fuse in this midline. When they are going to fuse in this midline, their lateral end will form a swelling. This is known as the lingual swelling. Over this midline, you can see a single swelling. This is known as the tuberculum impar. Behind this tuberculum impar, and at the junction between the first and the second pharyngeal arch, you can see a small foramen known as the foramen cecum. This is the foramen cecum, where some endodermal tissue will penetrate the mesoderm, and that's where the thyroid gland begins to develop. The floor of the pharynx will show some thickening and will depress down to form a diverticulum known as the thyroglossal duct. This duct will bifurcate into 2 regions, and the proliferation of the cells in this bifurcated region will give rise to the lateral lobe of the thyroid, which is connected by the isthmus. In this figure, you can see this is the endodermal thickening, and it is depressing down to form a thyroglossal duct. This thyroglossal duct is dividing into 2 regions. The proliferation of cells in this bifurcated region will give rise to the lateral lobe of the thyroid, which is connected by the isthmus. The caudal end of this duct persists as a pyramidal lobe in 50% of the individual. However, the thyroglossal duct degenerate and remain as a foramen cecum, which is present on the dorsal part of our tongue. In this week 5 section embryo, you can see a foramen cecum, and this thyroid is developing in front of this pharyngeal gut. This This is the sagittal section of the head and neck. Over here, this is the foramen cecum, and this red dotted line represents the migratory pathway of the thyroid. Now, by the 7th week, the thyroid will migrate anterior to the thyroid bone and reach in front of the larynx and the trachea. The thyroid starts to function roughly at the end of 3rd month, in which the first follicle containing pollen are visible. The thyroid has two capsules, outer false capsule and the inner true capsule. The outer false capsule is derived from the pretracheal layer of the deep cervical fossa, and the true capsule is the peripheral condensation of the connective tissue of this gland. Now, talking about the histogenesis of the thyroid gland, on week 10 to 17, we see a thin rim of colloid and the developing follicle. So this is also known as the colloid formation stage. On week 18 to 22, this stage is known as the folliculogenesis stage, because in this stage we see an increased number of follicles. And on week 23 to 36, this is the mature follicular stage, because in this stage we see a well-developed follicle. Now, while talking about the development of thyroid gland, the development of parathyroid gland can't be neglected. The parathyroid gland is derived from the pharyngeal pouch 3rd and the 4th. The inferior parathyroid gland is derived from the pharyngeal 3rd, and the superior parathyroid gland is derived from the 4th pharyngeal pouch. The inferior parathyroid gland will detach from the 3rd pharyngeal pouch and will go on the bottom surface, which is present on the dorsal part of our thyroid. Whereas the superior thyroid gland will detach from the 4th pharyngeal pouch and will go on the top surface on the dorsal part of our thyroid. Apart from the superior parathyroid gland, the 4th pharyngeal pouch will also give rise to the ultimobrachial body. This ultimobrachial body is also known as the future parafollicular cell. The future parafollicular cell, or the C cell, is essential for the calcium metabolism, as they secrete the calcitonin hormone. Now, for the congenital anomalies, I would like to invite Samana.
Thank you, Sandesh. Good morning, everyone. My topic of discussion for today is about the congenital anomalies of thyroid gland. First, what is a congenital defect? It is a structural and functional defect that is present during the intrauterine life. Starting off, we have the anomalies related to the shape. The pyramidal lobe is a structure that is present so often that it is considered as a normal structure. So, it may arise either from the isthmus or from one of the lobes. It may have also lost its connection with the rest of the thyroid gland, or may be divided into 2 or more parts. The isthmus, that is the connection between the 2 lateral lobes, in some individuals it might be absent, whereas in some individuals one of the lateral lobe may be absent. Thyroid hemiogenesis is commonly seen in the left lobe. Moving on, we have the anomalies related to the position. The thyroid tissue infrequently forms anywhere along the course of the thyroglossal duct. The most common abnormal site is the tongue, so it is termed as lingual thyroid. Others are intralingual thyroid, suprahial thyroid, infrahial, and intrathoracic thyroid. Talking about lingual thyroid, in which you can see the thyroid tissue is present in the tongue. This picture represents the sublingual thyroid. Now, pubic thyroid tissue or aberrant tissue. In this, the mass of the thyroid tissue is present in various abnormal locations such as larynx, trachea, esophagus, pleura, pons, pericardium, and ovaries. This also occurs due to the defect in the migratory pathway. Remnants of the thyroglossal duct. We know that thyroglossal duct is supposed to degenerate by the 10th week of development. For sometimes, this duct may persist and it leads in the formation of the thyroglossal cyst and thyroglossal fistula. Thyroglossal cyst is formed when there is failure in the closure of the thyroglossal duct, whereas sometimes the thyroglossal cyst is connected to the outside by a fistulous canal, so it is termed as thyroglossal fistula. We can also find some of the cases of the carcinoma of the thyroglossal duct. These are the pictures representing the thyroglossal cyst, and this picture represents the thyroglossal fistula. Now, various rare conditions such as thyroid dysgenesis, hypoplasia, and agenesis. Thyroid dysgenesis is a condition in which either the thyroid is absent or severely reduced in size, whereas thyroid hypoplasia is a condition in which thyroid is present but it is underdeveloped, so the thyroid is unable to perform its normal function. Whereas thyroid agenesis, it is a condition in which there is complete absence of the thyroid gland. These all changes might lead to congenital hypothyroidism. This picture represents a baby that is born with congenital hypothyroidism. Now, we would like to present you guys with a short video and a summary about today's topic.
Morning everyone. I will be summarizing today's presentation given by my friend with a short video. This is the lateral view of the embryo during 24th to 25th day of fertilization. You can see here there is mesodermal thickening, folding from behind the nasal plateau. This is called the pharyngeal arch. And between there is the depression. This is called as the pharyngeal grooves or pharyngeal cleft. There is a lateral folding of the embryo taking place, and there is formation of total 5 pharyngeal arcs, and in between the pharyngeal arc there is a depression called pharyngeal cleft. You can see here there is formation of 1, 2, 3, 4 pharyngeal arc. This is the pharyngeal arc, and the ectodermal thickening here is the pharyngeal cleft, and this endodermal is called the pharyngeal pouches. This is the area of the pharynx shown here, and this is the hypobronchial eminence. Cartilage, nerve and muscles are obtained from the pharyngeal arch. There will be total formation of 4 pharyngeal pouches which are required in the development of thyroid gland and parathyroid gland. This is the first pharyngeal pouch, this is the second pharyngeal pouch, this is the third pharyngeal pouch, and this is the fourth pharyngeal pouch. Here is the thyroid diverticulum arising from the foramen cecum in first pharyngeal pouch middle. There will be the folding of the pharyngeal pouch and formation of third pharyngeal pouch and fourth pharyngeal pouch. From the dorsal view of third pharyngeal pouch, we can get inferior parathyroid gland, and fourth we can get superior parathyroid gland. There will be the movement of the parathyroid glands towards the thyroid gland. This is the 7th week of the development of thyroid gland. Thyroglossal duct is found to be moving, so encircling the hyoid bone, and comes to lie in front of the trachea during the developmental process. It comes during the 7th week of the development. The hyoid bone. Here you can see the trachea, and there is the development of thyroid gland has already arisen on the trachea, and this thymus comes to lie below the thyroid gland. Thank you.
Subscribe now and press the bell icon. Never miss an update.